Chris, thank you for coming on the podcast.
Of course. Yeah. Sorry it took me so long to wrangle me, man. I'm not that complicated, but my summer's been so busy that it's just like, I don't know, for me to put anything in the calendar is such an ordeal for my brain, you know?
I mean, it's summer. It's a nice time to be doing things. I get it.
Yeah, I
Um,
know.
but yeah, dude, thanks again for coming on. This is great. I think actually one of many people I think I was led to you from Nick Thorburn. Uh,
Yeah, thank you, boy. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
he loves basketball, and he was happy to share all the friends that love basketball as well.
Yeah, yeah, Nick and I share a lot in common, and definitely basketball is
Yeah.
one we share in common for
Are
sure.
you in LA?
I live in LA. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm sure
I see
you've
Nick all
seen
the
him
time.
around. Yeah.
We see each other all the time. He just announced his record release party
Hmm.
for next week. And it's one of those things, he's like, he runs a little late in announcing stuff,
Sure.
which is everyone's got their own, cycle. And I was so pumped because the day was open. It was just one of those things. I was like, it's open, it's at a bar close to my house. It's like perfect, ideal situation.
It's
Yeah,
happening.
my girlfriend and I, Maria, we love Nick. We see Nick as often as we can.
Awesome. Yeah, he's a good dude. And it was we'll do a game later at the end of this, but he also did the same game. And he had a blast with it. So I'm hoping
Yeah.
you will as well.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
Um cool. So I mean, before we talk a little bit of basketball, I like to talk some music first. And one thing I like to ask people is, what are you currently listening to?
Oh, that's a good question. Well, my girlfriend and I were doing MDMA tomorrow night with a bunch of people, and we're working on this playlist, and it's some pretty deep electronic music.
Awesome.
But before that, I will say that so I run pretty consistently, and I think that when you need music for something like that, you it's kind of tough because it's got to be the right music. It has to be like it has to like serve you, and the tempo has to be right, and the kind of content and the feeling has to be right. And it's like brutal today. So you kind of need as much encouragement as you can from
Yeah.
music. And so for the past 4 or 5 days I've been listening to this Brocal Social Scene record, the self-titled one. I think it's 2005. I think
Hmm.
it's just Broken Social Scene, but it's got that, you've seen it. It's got that buildings and the
Yep.
reds. And man, I think that my estimation of the record just keeps growing. The more that I listen to it, the more I think about it, and the more that I get inside of it in these runs where I'm just like listening to the song so closely. It's a masterpiece.
Yeah.
I think it's like an unbelievably interesting record, and it's kind of changing the way that I think about music a little bit. It's it's been amazing. So, and let me read. Oh, this. Do you know Sia Gray? Have you ever heard of her? She's like a UK
I
singer.
have not. And I love when people bring the Rex, so always happy to hear.
I think this is an interesting record. It's called QRT, like the QRERTY.
Okay.
Came out this year, um, 2023. I think it's on Domino, but no, maybe it's self-released. But she's very interesting UK weirdo, kind of in the same realm as like Jockstrap and Sorry, more like
Okay.
electronic pop stuff. And then let me read some of this electronic stuff. So we've got, I don't know, my girlfriend's better than me about like curating new electronic
Hmm.
music, but like, I mean, Ludwig AF, Florist, Logic 1000, Mount Kimby over Mono, Bicep, Kenny Larkin, LS1, Housing Authority. I mean, the Fortet, Blawan. I
It's
mean,
all over the place. I love it.
it's all, yeah, Sophie, Call Super, Caribou, Fortet, like Ross from Friends, Arca, a lot of Arca
Hmm.
on this list, Ann Avrin, Jockstrap, uh, Mode Selector, Postage. So that's what we have in store for tomorrow night. I listen to a lot of electronic music in general,
Yeah.
and
It's
then
awesome.
rap, and that's about it.
Yeah. Yeah. So you said Florist, a big fan of Florist.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
really, really interesting stuff. And so you said you're really big in electronic stuff lately, and I feel like in terms of the music you make, I feel like that's kind of where you've skewed in the past
Yeah.
few years. Um, and especially going back to your early stuff where it was more singer songwriter acoustic led, and even back to MK Ultra and it was very grungy. You've had a lot of styles, and I guess how do you feel your styles evolved over time? Is it based on like just kind of what you're into at the moment, or
Yeah, I think it's 100% like what the music I got obsessed with. And there's always a long lag time.
Mhm.
You know, I started listening to like more electronic music in maybe 2017, and it just took a couple years to kind of sink in.
Yeah.
And like I like songwriting. I mean, honestly, like part of the shift was that songwriting is tiring. It's
Mhm.
like really, it's kind of a little bit boring because it's not that it's harder. Everything is impossible, right? To
Yeah.
make good music is fucking impossible. But like
Mhm.
it's so much work to write a song, to write lyrics and to figure out a melody line and then to structure it where it works and flows and then you can play it on acoustic guitar, electric guitar, or
Mhm.
piano, and then to record it. It's so much more delicate in a way than just like improving electronic music, you know,
Right.
which is like much more feel based. And like, I mean, I think that as long as you're really sorry, I had my ringer on for you, but I'm gonna kill it now. As long as you're like consciously kind of like, I don't know, trying to get better, you get a flow that is, it's simply like more efficient than writing
Mhm.
a song. I don't know. It's like I like songs, but they're, man, it's probably like if someone was like writing short stories and then they got into writing poetry, like short form poetry, and they're just
Yeah.
like, oh, I kind of like this. I don't want to work on something for a month or 2 months, 6 months, you know? And like, I think that maybe my attention span, like everyone else's, has decreased.
Sure.
I like songs that are a minute and a half.
Right.
Something about when you work on a narrative and like a proper song that
Mhm.
like you're like, well, this took 6 months, so I'm gonna
Yeah.
stretch this shit out. And like, I don't know. I have skewed 100% towards like more improvisational and more electronic.
Sure.
I like just the glitchy sounds make sense to me right now. Like,
Totally. And I guess in terms of when you're making music, are you super critical about it, or you just kind of like make as much as you can?
well, I think that like I think it's the same issue that most people have. Like I'm self-hating, you know, like
Yeah.
to a certain degree, you know what I mean? Like I definitely I don't record and then play stuff back and like start weeping like, "Oh my God,
Right.
dude." I'm
I've
like,
done it.
"Yeah, I've done it." I'm like I'm more like, "Damn it, I'm getting closer. One day I'm going to figure something out." You know,
Mhm.
like I you know, I listen. I'm not stupid. If you're listening to Arca and then you go into a room with a mono machine and then you play it and it if it sounds like Arca, you're high. Do you know what I mean? And if it doesn't, then you got to keep working, you know?
Right,
And like,
right.
so, but I don't know. I've been chasing that shit my whole life. I don't have, like, I used to when I was in my 20s, I would have like a month where I would be so depressed I couldn't record. And
Mhm.
I mean, if I'm down now, it's like for like 3 minutes and I'm just like, let's do it. Let's go. So I don't know. I love the challenge. I mean, I think that I always wonder, have I gotten dumber or like worse with music or less courageous? I don't know. I have no clue, but like, I don't know. I like my last record. I can listen
Yeah.
to it. It makes me happy. So
That's great. That's really all I can ask for, right? Like,
100%. I think in some ways I have a very uncomplicated relationship with creativity. I'm just like, I did my best this month and
right.
another record in 2 months, you know?
I mean, that's an amazing way to go about it for sure. Um, I guess when since you have been more in this electronic analog realm, do you just go right into it, or are you starting it with like acoustic stuff, or is both?
I usually go right into it.
Yeah.
I have like I've gotten obsessed with like the electron mono machine and the machine
Mhm.
drum, like early 2000s Swedish, kind of like industrial electronic
Yeah.
music boxes, you know, for lack of a better word.
Right.
And do you know, have you ever had any experience with those things or like fooled around?
Absolutely not.
They're wild. I mean, I think the mono machine especially was just like it felt like a total failure when it came out. I mean, it
Okay.
must have felt like a failure to people because It's the most menu heavy, just clunky, strange, and kind of like, I think, just think from a visual perspective, it looks ridiculous. It's too small. It just doesn't, like, music people are very visual, that's why
Mhm.
all this chasing of like vintage gear goes on forever.
Totally.
And I don't know, I got them right before both because of Sophie and Arca, who I'm like really obsessed with, but like I got them right before COVID. And I think that without COVID shutting everything down, I wouldn't have had the time or the patience to learn them.
Yeah.
And man, I just got so deep. Updating the, I was updating the operating system with like, they have like new, like basically open source operating systems that like weirdos have written. And
Sure.
they're, it's like the X operating system. And you have to like, it's like a SysX protocol and it's ridiculous. And like, I got so into it that like, I'm proud of myself because like 3 years ago, I couldn't have done any. I just didn't have
Sure.
a mind to understand any of this stuff. And I feel like I'm like a little bit better about it.
I mean,
So
yeah. When you dedicate the time, especially yeah, during pandemic COVID stuff, everyone had the time.
everyone had to, and there's no way I could do it now. I just
Right.
couldn't.
Well, judging behind you, you have lots of uh
Yeah,
toys that you kind of have been figuring
yeah,
out, it seems.
yeah. And when I have something, I use it. It's like I'm here every single day.
That's awesome. That's great. Um, but yeah, that's awesome. You have any like kind of shows coming up or things like that?
I do well, yeah, I'm like really weird with shows. Like I almost play like never, and I really enjoy like I'm first off, I'm not big enough really to play that much. So
Okay.
it's great. I mean, it's awesome. Like touring is, and I think that like there is a very uncomfortable middle for a lot of musicians. Like I think that you better get famous real fast
Mhm.
and you better get into like playing theaters, or you're gonna have, unless you're just like a straight up alcoholic, you're gonna have a miserable time like touring in
Yeah.
clubs all the time because it's pretty brutal.
Yeah. Yeah, and
Like
I think something we've also realized during the pandemic and coming out of that is that it is very unaffordable for smaller bands to tour.
it's always been a scam, but it's like a double scam now. It
Yeah.
is crazy the money, the cuts that bands are enduring. I mean, Nick from Islands, we were just talking about this the other day about like the fix is in, man. I mean, it's like
Hmm.
Live Nation owns a lot. They bought a
Ugh.
lot of 200 cap rooms. Like this is new. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
the fucking narcs are at the party, man. You know what I mean? Like
It's
they're
every industry too, you know. It's
every
like I've been trying to buy a house and it's like, man, Zillow's bought up everything. So
I know it's a fucking scam,
it's
top to
awful.
bottom. What it's all a racket, and it's all, yeah. Zillow is a scam. Like, don't we have antitrust laws? Like, what the
Yeah.
fuck, man? Like,
It's
aren't
wild.
we supposed to be protected just to some degree? And like,
You would think so, yeah.
and that's why I just don't believe in any. I'm like become a total like lawless nihilist. Like, just you would steal from Whole Foods, Home Depot, do your
Right.
thing, like do drugs, like have fun,
Hell
love,
yeah.
like so. I I think it's weird because Marie and I we bought like a teak table for the backyard because we have
Mhm.
dinner all the time. And we rented a U-Haul van. And it was the first time that I was in like a Chevy Express van in like 10 years. And it was fucking wild to like think about like how I barely made it work. I
Mhm.
stopped touring in 2013, essentially. Like I was touring at that time as like a trio. We didn't have a trailer anymore, but a couple years before I was towing a trailer.
Okay.
We had like, my peak, we were like a quintet with a front of house person. So
Hmm.
6 people on the road. So you got payroll for 5 people, you've got a trailer, and you've got a Chevy van payment.
Hmm.
I think mine was like 568 a month. And but the crazy thing is that we rented this van and we just drove from like one, we live in historic Filipino town. We drove south like 11 miles. And man, I'm not kidding you. We put in like $25 of gas into this thing. And I'm thinking about a van filled with gear and band members driving around this fucking country. Like, there's no way that your trust fund isn't being evaporated or that you're not just doing shit, crazy shit for ego stuff.
$5 a gallon every, not even every state basically you go through, you got to do it.
and the tank's huge. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like you could be $130 to fill up, and so it's just like there's no way. Bands are fucked. Like I don't know, what to do, but
Yeah.
yeah, no more touring.
But
But I'm
you go ahead.
oh sorry, what were you gonna say?
I was just saying, but you play music to make yourself happy, and
Oh
that's
hell yeah!
great.
So I do Insta live shows because they're free for everyone, and they're just
Yeah.
stupid. You know, it's like why not? But I am playing a show at the Torrance Library in November. I forget the
Awesome.
date. I think November 2nd. So I'm playing like a Sunday show at a Torrance Library for kids.
Yeah,
Get
that's great.
up. I love that shit. They're paying me $400. I'm just like, hell
Perfect.
yeah, hell yeah, you know?
That's amazing. Um, well, cool, man. And I guess, segueing from there, other things that bring us joy is the other half of this is
Yeah.
basketball.
Yeah.
Uh, so you said you're a Warriors fan,
Yeah,
primarily.
I am primarily. I do think there's a couple caveats I would say is that I generally I don't like nationalism. I don't like um kind of homerism. I don't
Yeah.
like the idea of like someone thinking that because they live in a region that they say like, well, we drafted really well this year, and it's like, wait, we like uh so there's a certain type of Warriors fan that's like very toxic
Yeah.
and irritating, and I there's so many the idea. Okay, the thing that's crazy to me, and tell me if you feel this way. Like I've only seen 3 basketball games live, and like one of them was a Warriors game.
Mhm.
And the thing that like gets me is that like when the opposing team misses a free throw and then people applaud, to me that is like the mark of psychotic behavior, like completely toxic behavior. Do you know what I
Right.
mean? Like I'm not rooting against this fucking guy. I'm rooting for the team that I'm identifying with
Totally.
at that moment to just play a little bit more crafty. These are all
Right.
geniuses. They're all amazing people. They should be treated with respect. The person that you think is your demonic like like leveler could be on
Mhm.
your team in 6 weeks. Like who knows?
Right.
No loyalty, and it's like it's all good either way. These are beautiful people that need to be celebrated. When the Warriors were playing Sacramento, I was like, I love Sacramento.
Oh man, that
Love
series
them.
was fantastic.
It was great, and I've always loved Sac. I
Yeah.
don't root against anybody, man. There's people. Honestly, I hated Kobe so much. I can't even express how much.
Interesting.
Yeah, I like. There's certain players that like, to me, they just are like the wrong type of player. It's like more
Okay.
of like hero ball players.
Hmm.
So Kobe definitely
Do
got
you
me.
do you not like a Jimmy Butler?
Jimmy's different, you know. I think
Okay.
that
He is different.
he's different. He elevates a lot of people he plays with. But man,
True.
what's wild is that Aaron Gordon was his fucking kryptonite, man. If you look at the numbers of Jimmy shooting against Aaron Gordon, like Aaron Gordon, by the way, he'll make an appearance on our musicians in our basketball
Okay.
musicians.
Good to hear. Good to hear.
Um, but Aaron Gordon, first off, if the Warriors had Aaron Gordon, they probably would have won the
Yeah.
ring. Fucking
I mean,
this
he
motherfucker.
blossomed. Like I feel like when he got drafted by Orlando, everyone thought he was like, oh, he's a good dunker, but like he really stepped up his defense once he went to Denver.
He's like the ideal play. He's that Malik Rose. You know what I mean? It's like
Oh man,
have
deep
to have
cut.
this, right? You have to have this type of player. You will lose because the Warriors had David West, and that was a big part of that. You have to have that player. You've got to
Hmm.
have that role filled. And if you don't, look at the Warriors could never figure out. They played this positionless basketball for a while that really worked. And then all
Yeah.
it takes is for you to not have Bielika or whatever his name is, like just a couple people getting injured. JaVale.
Right.
I mean, just like losing 1 or 2 people as that like second unit big man that's flexible, that cannot get busted in a pick and roll. Like,
Hmm. I feel like every championship team has that defensive presence role player. And even though he's not a big, like when I think to like the Bucks, like PJ Tucker was huge for that team.
you can't win. You won't win without that player. Do you know
Yeah,
what I mean? You won't.
absolutely.
You will not. It won't happen. And it's like that's why players like there's like players like Harden, for instance, that like I was just like, you'll never win with him.
No.
It's never gonna happen. You can't have a like Jordan Poole. You can't have a what do they try like a traffic cone. You cannot
Yeah.
have a player on the court it's so toxic. Do you know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like it's, could you imagine how angry you'd be to watch someone like do a swipe down at the ball and
Oh
stand
yeah.
still? You'd like want
So
to.
you are, if you are a Warriors fan and you don't like hero ball, there are lots of hero ball players on the Warriors.
I know, but some of them are like some of the best players that have
Right,
ever.
like Steph's the best 3-point shooter in history. So
But also Steph makes people better around him.
yes,
You
he
know,
does.
I mean, I think the thing that I don't like about hero ball is like the stickiness, the
Mhm.
isolation, and like the Warriors would do this thing where they would have like they would count the number of passes, and it'd be like I don't know what the average is, but it would be like 300, and it would be
Yeah.
like so I like the democratic ball. I like
Hmm.
when you're setting up people, you're like you're making everyone blossom around you. I
And that's
love
100% something Kerr learned from San Antonio. Like,
I mean, there's San Antonio dashed my dreams for decades.
yeah.
So it's like, come on, that pop shit, that's the real shit.
The
That's the
longer we have Pop in the league, the better the league is. I just holding on as long as you can. It's not even like LeBron. It's like I need Pop to stay in the league, not
I
LeBron.
know, I agree. Because he got Wemby, right? Didn't he?
He
Didn't he?
did, and
I
that
mean,
could be huge for him.
huge,
For
huge,
Wemby, not for Pop. Like that could be,
huge for
it can make
Wemby.
his career so good.
I know,
Uh
100%.
Super exciting. Do you have like some vivid Warriors memories? I mean, like did you grow up rooting for them?
No, I grew up actually. My first love was the Kings.
Oh.
My first great love was the Sacramento Kings, and I was living in San Francisco,
Hmm.
and like also, you know, the AK-40, the Karolinko Jazz. Like, there's a lot
Yeah.
of teams that I like. The when West was on the Hornets. Like, there's a lot of teams I tended to like gravitate towards, like very democratic, defense heavy
Hmm.
teams, you know, and like those San Antonio's teams were like that too, you know, where it's
Yeah.
like anyone could kill you, you know what I mean? Like, and the the Kings were just like built different. Like that was the
Yeah.
first like high octane, almost like um they, you know, Don Nelson, he was ahead of the curve, man. Like
Hmm.
he gave a lot to Kerr too, like, you know,
Which era Kings are you referring to?
like when they fire under 10 seconds,
Okay.
you know,
Yeah.
you know, so you've got like Doug Christie,
Yeah.
you
Oh God.
you know, right?
C
Like
Web. Yeah.
you Steve Webb Stojakovic, and you've got, you know, like that whole crew.
Yeah.
And this is why I hate Kobe, really, because it
Oh,
was
of
the
course.
getting destroyed by the Lakers year after year after year. And I remember when Shaq called them the Sacramento Queens. I was like, first off, this is gender shaming.
Yeah. Right. What?
Like, fuck this. And like, Shaq's a cop, anyways. You know, he's allowed to beat heads as a sheriff, you know.
He's
And
DJing at Lollapalooza, like
yeah,
whatever.
and he is actually a sheriff. I think he's an honorary
I
sheriff.
think I saw that as well. Yeah.
He's a
It's
total,
hilarious.
but like he and Kobe would just murder and I loved the Kings. They were just, I like underdogs, you know. And
Hmm.
of course the Warrior, you know, I mean, I was definitely watching the Warriors when they were horrible,
Yeah.
and I would still like them. I like
Sure.
basketball. You know what I mean? I
Of
just
course.
like every team. Like, I like every game, every team. It's all good. There's
Hell yeah.
very few teams that I don't enjoy watching. But like, to watch the Warriors come online was wild, man.
Hmm.
That was
I
really
Yeah, totally. And I really love too, like I think this is kind of what you're talking about is like when teams have like a cultural moment, like the We Believe team, like
it was unfucking believable, man. It was incredible.
and I'll always love Baron Davis just for
I
that team
know,
alone.
I know. And there's videos of him roller blading and like playing hoops. You know, he was just a cool dude.
Yeah,
Yeah, Baron Davis was amazing.
totally. You've been dropping some deep cut players, and I now this makes me curious. Have you played any of the like Immaculate Grid type game like puzzles?
No, what are those?
Okay, so it's I'm very tempted to like pull one up and just like do one
Yeah,
with you right now.
yeah.
I'm gonna do
Let's
it.
do it.
I don't even know how this is gonna work out, but let's try it out. So it's basically like it's kind of like a Wordle type puzzle,
Yeah.
but it's teams and stats. Let's try it out. Can you see
Okay.
this?
Yeah. Yep.
So you have to like who's a player who played for the Jazz and the Hawks?
Oh,
This
God,
sort
that's
of thing.
hard.
it is really hard because like
Oh my God. I
I've
think
had
you can see the
moments.
limits of my abilities here.
It's very difficult, but 10 rebounds a game in a season. I feel like Hawks, Timberwolves, Garnett. There's because
Oh,
there's
okay.
a whole other level of like trying to get rare
Okay,
get
how about
picks.
Hakeem Olajuwon for Houston Rockets, 10
Totally,
rebounds.
100%. Yeah,
Okay,
41% picked.
so then I need to Rockets Spurs. Player or okay, Garnett with Timberwolves
For 10
rebound.
rebounds. Yep, that's solid one.
Okay, damn it. I don't even know who we
Speaking
even
of,
played anymore.
we just talked about someone on a in a game. How about Robert Ory for Spurs
Yeah,
Rockets?
yeah, that's great. Yeah,
There you
Ori.
go.
I love it. Okay, and then who's on the
Your
Jazz?
your Jazz. You got your Jazz that you love, man.
Love it. But so they had to play on both teams.
Yeah, which is very difficult because you get these journeymen who are like on a team for 1 year, and it's like I can't remember you being on this team.
Remember, Houston Rockets, Utah Jazz. So we've got Rockets. Um,
Rockets, Jazz. That's a tough one. I mean, well, Spurs, Hawks. There's a current player that just got traded. Not just got traded, but DeJounte Murray.
wow, shit. Damn, I didn't know that. Hawks, 10 rebounds. Who's a center for the Hawks in any era? I
Well,
don't
we
like
got
I've never
Mutombo.
okay, put
We,
Batumbo in.
I can't remember if Horford ever got 10 for the Hawks either.
Okay,
There you go.
good. Nice. So then, okay, so
And that's the thing. So you get four guesses. So you get nine total guesses. And if you get one wrong, you don't get to fill the whole grid up.
yeah.
Uh here's a deep cut. Tom Gugliotta.
Wow. Damn. Wow. Shit. Okay.
It's tough with the Jazz too, because I feel like a lot of those guys played for the state, like Stockton, Malone, Hornacek. They
Yeah,
didn't really play for many
forever.
other teams.
Yeah.
Uh this is tough. Did Boris Diaw play for the Timberwolves? I don't think so. Did he play for the Jazz? Let's try Boris Diaw. Oh my God.
Wow. Damn, that was great. Wow.
The other
Shit.
two I'm at a loss for.
Yeah. Damn it.
I'm gonna give up on this one though. But it gives you a score at the end. It shows you
Oh.
who's the most popular guesses.
Oh, wow. Gobert, of course.
It is so addicting though.
Yeah,
It's such a
Freaky.
fun time.
Clint Capella. Wow. Amazing. Love it.
If
Yeah.
for
I love
the me and my brothers go back and forth, just like it's like just fun to name obscure players.
course. Yeah. Well, also they've given you joy. It's like I
Absolutely.
think about these players and I love Diao. Like he is
Hmm.
so fun to watch and like that's why I don't understand the rooting against stuff. It's like
Yeah.
it's just so I never understood it. Like I
As a
like
general sports fan, like I'm also a big baseball fan, and like if another team hits a home run against me, some people like flip out, and I'm just like, oh well, that stinks.
yeah. Yeah, it's okay. And it's like the idea is not that you want to like maim your opponent. The
Yeah.
idea is that you're identifying with a team that should be playing well to win. That's
Right.
the same reason why I never understood getting worried about refs. It's just like,
Yeah.
if you're that close, oh, you want to meet my girlfriend? Maria, get in here. She's walking by. She's getting cherry tomatoes from the garden.
Oh, nice.
Maria Brand, get in here. This is Maria Brand, everyone.
Hello. Pleasure to meet you.
Maria, we're talking about basketball.
Yeah,
It's John's favorite subject.
it is. That's why we got him on here.
So good.
Pleasure to meet you.
All right, bye, Maria.
I'm gonna go get tomatoes.
All right, I love you, my dearest. We're making dinner for friends tonight, and
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool. Sounds amazing.
Yeah.
So I guess in back to your basketball fandom, and with Nick, kind of the one who introduced me to you. Are there any other musicians that you've toured with that you feel like you've bonded over basketball with?
Wow. I mean, honestly, it feels like most people, like musicians, like basketball a lot more than people
Yeah.
think. You know what I mean? It's like because basketball is like a band. It's very similar. The
Yeah.
structure, the rhythms, the kind of internalized telepathic communications. It's very. I always tell people if they're like they don't understand the appeal of basketball, I'm just like, think about those Miles quintets, like how much
Hmm.
they communicate, how much better they got playing with each other, how they communicated, and how the dribbling is like a rhythm. There's a rhythm to all moves, all plays, leading someone with a pass, like telegraphing a melody or rhythm, like it's all there. So,
Absolutely. And
um,
it's such an intimate sport too, because there's only 5 people on the court at a time.
so intimate. And every player really matters. Like
Yeah,
you can't
absolutely.
hide a weak link on a team.
Totally.
And if you're in a
Um,
series, you'll get murdered if you have a weak link because they'll just hunt him out.
Definitely. Um, but like you said, so the other thing I think that connects a lot of musicians too is like there's a level of nostalgia with like basketball, I think, more than a lot of sports.
Yeah.
Where like I mean, at least in terms of like what I've realized is a lot of people are like they played sports, when they were younger, and then they reach this point like around high school where they're like, I'm gonna decide if I'm gonna keep playing sports or if
Yeah.
I got into music, so like I'm not gonna play sports anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's very interesting that love for basketball just never goes away.
Never goes away. I really miss playing it actually.
Yeah.
I never play. Nick plays it, but I never
Hmm.
play it.
When's the last time you think you played?
Other than shooting around, I've shot around a lot, but other
Yeah.
than shooting around 10 years ago,
Yeah.
which is crazy. I mean, I'm definitely like a 100% runner. Like I just run.
Nice. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah, I feel like I've even seen Malcolmus is always doing Instagram lives, like shooting around. Like it's crazy.
I love, I love it. Yeah, he's a big basketball fan.
Um, so like you mentioned about the chemistry and even earlier, let's do that little game portion. Let's build a band out of
Oh yeah.
basketball
Oh yeah.
players.
Oh, and just really quickly, one person that I think would be really good is Liz from TrueAnon
Oh, okay.
podcast. I think
Interesting.
Liz would be amazing because Liz has deep, very, very like highly intellectual knowledge about basketball.
Oh, awesome.
So I think that was, yeah, she would be. I don't know if you know that podcast, but they're
Okay.
incredible. And Liz is awesome, man.
Oh, sweet.
And they're legendary. I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
they're Liz is incredible. So tell me if you want me to put you in the thread, and I'll get you looped up.
Yeah, that would be
So I think
great.
she's really amazing, and
Yeah.
she has good takes. She has like very smart and I like highly original takes about players
Mhm.
that she'll throw down on the pod. It'll be about like whatever Bay of Pigs or something, and she'll throw something in, and I'll be like, "Damn it, man! That's like advanced knowledge, you
That's
know?"
amazing. Yeah, I think one of the more like statistically thinking like people I've had on was the band Small Black. Have you heard them?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I had Josh on from Small Black, and
yeah.
he knows his stuff, man.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah,
I
we
love
did
it.
a mock draft. It was really fun.
I love it.
Um,
That's great.
all right, but so yeah, let's build a band out
Okay,
of
let's build a band.
musicians, out of sorry, build a
Okay.
band out of NBA players.
Yeah.
So
So
as
do you want me
many
to go with number
instruments
one
as you want, like we're really crafting from the style, the instrumentation, whatever you got. Let's craft your band up.
Well, what I would like is I want to have like JaVale McGee is my number one pick because JaVale is like a legitimately good producer.
Hmm.
And JaVale got such a short shrift. I mean, he has 2 or 3 rings, so he's like doing great.
True.
But like he I mean, he's a producer on, I don't know if you know this song. It's called Prada to Bang. It's a Young Thug song.
He
And
was
JaVale,
nominated for a Grammy, wasn't he?
he's really good. And
That's
if
crazy.
you listen to that Young Thug song and you listen to JaVale's own music, you can actually hear that like he's actually a good producer. And I think what's interesting in the NBA is like that there's a lot of like, like Dame Dollar. It's like who I don't think is very good. Like, I think that
Mhm.
there's like a lot of bad rappers
Yeah.
in like, of course, because rapping is fucking hard. You know what I mean? It's like
Meta
there's a
World
lot of bad.
Peace. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's like a lot of bad basketball players who aren't in the NBA. It's just like
Yeah.
it follows. You know what I mean? Like you are rewarded by being obsessed with something all day long, every day. But I think that like JaVale would be number one
Okay.
for me.
So are you actually building with people in the NBA who actually make music?
Yes.
I love
Oh,
that.
yeah. That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Because the
Like
initial
who
intent
actually,
is like if James Harden would be on bass and like what, because of the way he plays,
oh,
this is what it sounds like. But I love
oh,
this take on it, and I want to hear this.
yeah. So it's going to be like producers and it's going to be like rappers.
Great.
So the first rapper that I would pull in / producer is Amon Shumpert, and he's like, I think he's a cut above a lot of other rappers in the NBA.
Okay.
I think he's just a little weirder. He's listening to weirder
Totally.
stuff, and he's just working with like more savvy producers. It's a little
Hmm.
bit more refined. And also, honestly, he's not the greatest, but he actually has interesting people on his songs. Aaron
Okay.
Gordon is like
Oh, there you
not
go.
bad at
All right.
all. So we've got JaVale as the producer. I definitely like co-produce with JaVale. I'll be in there doing whatever he allows me to do. Then we've got Amon, and then and then someone who's not good, but is there for the freak factor, Kyrie, because Kyrie
Ah.
sings, and Kyrie's insane. So you could get Kyrie just for pure flavor. You
Okay.
know what I mean? Like sing crazy shit, say crazy shit. You
Absolutely.
know, just
Got to
like
have the wild
bring.
card.
Gotta have the wild card. So I think that would be like my idea. Like Amon, Aaron Gordon, Kyrie, JaVale. And then I think that there's a lot of other profile rappers that I think are really, truly terrible. I mean, it disrespects how good rap is to think that they're good, you know?
Damn. I'd love to hear it though. You know who, now that we were actually, talking about musicians who play basketball,
Yeah.
you know who can actually sing, as someone who brought up on the podcast before, is Victor Oladipo.
Oh, interesting.
He
Yeah.
he has some pipes, man. He can actually sing.
Oh, wow. Good for him.
Yeah.
I saw when I was researching this, because I misunderstood the directive, but I was researching and I saw Victor Oladipo in this list of like basketball players of talent, and I just like forgot to like hit the YouTube video.
Totally. Yeah. He can sing pretty well.
Didn't he leave some serious money on the table?
He sure did, and along with a lot of people in the past few years. Dennis Schroeder gets a lot of attention for that
Didn't he
one.
have like an $81 million
Yeah.
thing? He didn't take it. It's like,
And then he ended up signing for what, like 12 million or something like that.
oh my God. Come on. You got to know when to take the
I think
cash.
he's doing okay though. I think he's all right.
Or stick or simply just like go. If I were a player, I would just simply be like ring only. I would take the veteran minimum. I don't
Yeah.
fucking care about the money. Just get me a ring. That's all I would care about.
Iguodala.
Yeah.
It's what Iguodala did. He's like, I don't care what I make. Let me be a role player on your team.
Oh, he changed the Warriors.
Yeah.
He was a huge component.
He did. I love too that he like called out the Warriors in his book and then left and then came back.
Wait, what did he say in his book?
I feel like I remember reading something in the book. Like there was like it was very minor, but it was like a weird thing about the culture when he was with the early Warriors team.
Oh,
But then I think it kind of course corrected, and he came back and he's like, let's do this again.
Wow. Yeah, because he's kind of like a bench coach now, which is like great.
Totally. Awesome. I love bringing the actual talent from the NBA.
Yeah.
So thank you for that. That was great. But that's about all I got. It's been a pleasure talking basketball and music with you, man.
Great. I loved it. I had a great time. Email me if you want me to loop you in with Liz. And listen to a TrueNon app and like she'll, and I think she's a flat out genius.
So. Awesome. Absolutely will do. But thanks again for coming on, man. It's been a delight.
Where do you live?
I'm in Chicago.
Damn it. Okay. Well, I'm doing a Midwest tour next year. So if you see my name come, just email me and I'll put you on the list.
Hell yeah. That sounds great.
Yeah, it'll be a fucking blast.
All right, man. Well, take care.